of the world to Kenya. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your meeting, and as we have always been held accountable, we come to you with how the Q1 was looking and enjoy this conversation. So we start with the Kenya National Anthem.
Thank you, Chair.
Nguvu yetu Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll then be able to progress with an opening prayer by Daniel Juma. Is Daniel around?
Let's have the prayer by Mercy Kironyo, please.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this evening. We want to thank you for the wonderful protection you have given us. We want to thank you for such a wonderful day. We want to thank you for SIC and its management and leadership. We want to pray that you may be with us as we begin this investor forum. We pray that you may take us through. We may have an interactive session and that we may address what the members want. We thank you for this far you brought SIC, and we ask you to bless us, for it is in Jesus' name we pray, believing and trusting. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we progressed in the... sorry about that. Yeah, I think we can be able to progress on the preliminaries, which is item number 6, and we'll be welcoming our board members, supervisory, and our CEO, who is unfortunately not around because she's indisposed, but things are under control. Next slide. So these are our board members. You know Judy Runo, who is our chair. Judy, maybe you can just wave so that they can see you. She's actually logging in from outside the country, so the advantage of technology. We have our honorary secretary, Michael Akau. Michael, are you there? Maybe I can just ask the board members if they are there to just switch on their mic, their video, so that members can see them. We have Jackson Mulwa, who is our treasurer. Our former chair, Peter Gishangi, who is a board member now and responsible for RE. Engineer Emily Kilongi, board member. We have former treasurer Edward Njoroge. And we have Council Judy Warui. In the supervisory space, we have Rebecca Bisanju, who is the chairperson of the supervisory committee. And then we have CPA Beth Mwangi, who is the secretary of that particular committee. And then the Sheba Nyabwa, who is a member of the supervisory committee. So board members, you're most welcome. This is your opportunity to interact with the investors and be able to just reassure them that this team is committed to delivering what they promise. I am the vice chair and MC for today. You're most welcome. Next slide. Then we have the leadership team. Like I said, Sarah Wahogo, who is the CEO. We have Mercy Gakonyo, who is the operations and strategic partnerships manager. Jared Odhiambo, who is internal audit. Jonathan Malombo, head of sales manager. Rita Njoroge, marketing manager. We have Stephen Bogwa, the finance manager, and will be holding fort for Sarah for today's session. Daniela, she's a land she's a land unit housing unit manager. Housing unit manager. Sorry, and then we have Julius, who is the ICT manager. Patrick Matere, the HR manager, and we have Brian, who is land business manager. So that's a team that leads SIC in the executive, in management, and they're the people who run on a day-to-day basis SIC business. Next slide. So I take this opportunity to welcome the chair to be able to just give us her outlook and the outlook of the way SIC is moving. Thank you very much, Judy. Please take it away.
Thank you, VC. So basically, investors, I would like to take you through two main things. Number one is our strategic plan for the 2023-2027 audit plan. Remember that we agreed in the AGM or updated in the AGM that indeed we have had our strategic plan expiring in December 2022. And as such, we had already started in the preparations of the 2023 to 2027 audit plan. Therefore, I would like to just take the members and investors who are also our investors through this so that we can all understand where SIC is going. I've seen someone has asked a question, what is the objective of SIC? The objective of SIC is to be the investor of choice, giving premium returns to our members. That is exactly where we want to go, and that is why we do everything we do every morning. So in our strategic plan, we have various things that we want to move along. Just 1 second, just 1 second. Yes, so so we have 5 strategic pillars that we are working on as an organization for the next 5 years. The first one is on growth opportunities, just making sure that we then diversify on SIC business. We also have operational efficiency, which is always a good point, because when you look at where the world is going from an economics perspective, you really must be efficient to be able to still break even as our top line continues to get stretched and the cost of doing business, especially in Kenya, continues to escalate. And then on the capacity to execute is just building up our capacity internally and externally to be able to deliver the promise. And then on governance is strengthening to make sure that the organization is sustainable and we continuously build a business that will still be there even for our grandchildren. And then on member and customer experience, which is a key pillar for us, is to make sure that we get an optimal experience and a premium return for our members. So if I was to go through just the main areas on the growth opportunity, we want to invest in the greatest growth opportunities, synergizing on the strengths of SIC. SIC is in the real estate business, but there are areas before or after selling land or even housing that then present opportunity for us. So one of the areas that we are looking at in this particular year, 2023, is the areas of building. So we sell a lot of land to people, and a lot of people want to have credible and experienced and experts in building up their land, their houses, or even their rental units. So we want to get into that space this year so that we can also be able to do after-sales services that our members believe that we can also support in, and then it becomes also another diversity for the organization. We also want to look at partnering with other members by making sure that SIC as a trusted brand is able to come together with other trusted brands to be able to help them in selling properties that they have or even houses. So we are looking to enter into the e-commerce aspect of real estate and also to enter into the building part of the real estate, so that then we can be able to have value-added services for the organization. That is for this year. We have other frontiers, but we don't want to promise them here because we really want to first land the ones that we have scoped on and also done business cases and also done the research to ensure that those are demand areas that we can be able to have quick wins in. So if we look at the 2023 to 2027, we have given ourselves up to 2026 to be able to achieve top line of 3.5 billion from the various revenue streams in our or the various products that we offer. And then we also held ourselves accountable and said, considering this year our theme, our 2023 to 2027 plan is to actually achieve a rebate to members of 16% with a capital from a capital-based perspective, not a price of share perspective, but from a capital-based perspective, is then we must have the theme this year to actually be able to hit the double-digit return, so that in the next 3 years, then we are able to hit a 16%, which we think then at that point, it becomes a premium return for the organization to be able to compete with other products like the infrastructure bond that probably are among the highest earning returns in the country. So by and large, from a growth opportunity, that is where we are going this year. And from an operational efficiency, we want to simplify and accelerate our capacity to execute heavily through striking a balance between the customer happiness and cost efficiency, simplifying our business processes to better serve our customers. What we are trying to make sure is that when we sell land, which is the one that has had problem, we have not had problems with houses. When you finish paying your houses, you're able to get your documents of ownership. We've not had any issues for the various apartments we've had. But for the lands, we have had quite a number of hitches, especially historically. So what we are trying to do is making sure that even as we get to sell the land, we already have the mother titles in SIC name. So there's nothing stopping us to be able to get individualized titles as and when people complete their payments. So it's just simplifying to make sure that the progress is very seamless, and we are able to give you a superior experience. We also are looking significantly this year into our cost of sales so that we can be able to increase our gross margins and ultimately our bottom line, so that then we are able to synergize on the economies of scales, as we have quite a number of projects that we roll out every year, and also just to make sure that our processes are also extremely efficient, so that then our bottom line is enhanced. And finally, we are promising to a cost to income ratio in the lows of the 50s. Currently, we are in the 70s. We want to bring that down to the 50s. That then improves our uplift in the bottom line by at least 20%. So those are the things that we want to do from an operational perspective. What are the things we want to do for capacity to execute? Number one is digitize. Digitize is extremely important. So last year, we went into a phase of building the leadership bench. We have completed that phase of building the leadership bench. What we want to do this year is really digitize. And we are digitizing in threefold. Internally, we want to optimize the systems and make sure most of the activities and transactions that are operational are actually digitized, so that we can have very good speed of doing business. Then externally, we also want to make sure that all SIC interactions with our members, non-members, and customers are digital through creating this SIC Mkononi app. So those are critical things that we must do, so that then the business is also competitive from a strategic perspective. And then on governance, we are making sure that we are building a sustainable business. So if you look at our equity, if you look at our various retained earnings, whether the statutory one or the general one, you will realize that we've come from a very negative place. And that is not good. When a business runs without retained earnings, it means for anything you want to do, you will have to go and borrow. You will have to look for funds that might be very expensive. However, we are continuously driving our retained earnings so that we can have a sustainable funding base, and also we can be healthy from a ratios perspective. So we are adapting best management and governance practices for sustainable results. 3 years ago, we onboarded an internal auditor, and that has continued to build the governance of the organization. Last year, at the end of last year, we onboarded our risk manager, who then will come and make sure that we are able to have a proper risk management program being run for the organization. Risks should be identified in good time, and then as they are getting identified in good time, we also mitigate for the same. So by and large, we are also building the right culture as an organization, a culture of integrity, a culture that then is sustainable to run a business that is profitable. However, as any other organization, we will always run into a few hitches with a few of our staff, but we continuously then pick those and are able to deal with them. We also, from a member and customer experience, if I go to the member and customer experience, we have gotten a lot of feedback from this team on what we are doing well from a member's perspective. At least we have started to listen and we are able to pick up calls, but we still have a long way to go from a member and customer experience perspective. What are we doing about this? Number one, we have created a clear and focused diaspora team. This diaspora team is dealing with all diaspora matters, digitally and also physically. We have visited various areas, and we are starting to manage our diaspora clientele very effectively by making sure that we deal with their special issues in that manner, and we are able to interact with them and also grow our business together with the diaspora. We are also establishing and maintaining long-lasting and meaningful relationships with our members, our customers. If you think about the Tinga customers who had, we bought land and the land was not feasible due to various reasons. What we have done is gone and actually refunded the members and also given them options to be able to take other lands. Unfortunately, we are not able to do beyond there, but what we do is make sure if it is something we can get into litigation and get the resource, the assets of SIC safeguarded, then we get into litigation. If we need arbitration, we get into arbitration. But when all that fails, then we still take care of the customer by making, and our members, by making sure that you don't lose out. What we do is we either give you an option of other land that is secure, has titles, and you can visit prior to help you make a decision. But alternatively, we also refund you your money as and when you don't find a fit replacement for the same. We still have quite a number of things that we are doing on the historical lands that we are resolving, but we continue to update you. I know we might not be updating you as frequently as you may want, but some of these matters from a litigation perspective do not move very fast. But we endeavor and we will continue to form groupings that then are able to get updates on the same. We also want to make our investors' lives easier by making them have a very good experience of buying anything from Safaricom. If you're not buying anything from Safaricom Investment Cooperative, by making sure that then we give you a superior return as an investor. Then we also want to continuously grow our membership to 10,000 members by 2026. So those are the key areas from a strategic perspective. Maybe MC, because this is important for the organization, considering this is our direction for 5 years, I would want to first pause there and take 3 questions from the members on the same.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. I would encourage you to use the question and answer button on the lower part of your screen. Let's avoid the chat because the chats we cannot be able to follow up. The question and answer will be able to answer your specific question. Otherwise, the chat will lose it as we progress. So the questions, this is your session, investors, so we are ready to be able to answer the questions or do a follow-up in case we cannot answer it right here.
Okay, I'm just looking at the charts and I am seeing question number 1 from Jackson Wanjeru. Alphonse, I hope I have answered your question on what's the main purpose of SIC. At least I have told you what we are targeting and what our main objective is from a strategic perspective in the next 5 years. If it is not adequate, happy to have a rejoinder to your question. Jackson Wanjeru, you're asking 16% rebates. Is this rebate to SIC members or interest rate to depositors? This is rebates to SIC members, not for prepare fixed deposit. This is rebates to SIC members. So long as you're a bona fide member, this is the rebates we give you at the end of every financial year. That is where we want to get to by the end of 2026. So we start this year with our theme of double-digit return. Then Dixon Kabugu, you say it appears SIC is crowded out in advertisement and social media presence by more visible companies unlike Username, AIG, and others. How does SIC compete and rank the performance-wise? This is very good feedback, Dixon. I will allow our head of marketing, Rita, to pick that up. Rita, if you may pick that up. And then what steps are you taking to achieve 16% return on the rebates? The first steps we have taken are if you look at the budget that we presented and you approved in the AGM, you will see the return of double digit starts there. And we believe in 3 years, we should be able to achieve the 16% return. Then on diaspora, why not establish agency presence in different diaspora locations where there are clusters instead of running them from Nairobi all the time? I know we already have those, the diaspora agencies. Our acting CEO, as our main CEO recuperates, will be able to answer that. So Steve, you can be able to pick that up because I know we already have engaged a few agencies. Then can you give examples of matters specific to diaspora? And then what is the current membership total? So all these questions are mainly to do with investor relations. I will give the head of strategic partnerships, Mercy Gakonyo, to answer the 4 issues on diaspora and current membership. Mercy, over to you.
As Mercy readies herself, I can be able to pick the first one, which was on establishing agency presence in different diaspora locations. Yes, I think this is a work in progress. The diaspora partnership team are going to the various countries and identifying these agencies. So Jackson, if you're outside the country and you probably think that you can be able to be an agent in that particular location, yes, just get in touch with us. And as the team goes to the various locations, then they can be able to get in touch with you. We normally do this around maybe say, for example, a meeting or an organized meeting where we can be able to get many people in those specific locations. I think as we speak, the team has just left Rwanda, and they were previously in Burundi. So we started around Kenya, and we are moving and I think 2 months ago, we were also in the US. So thank you. Is Mercy there? Okay, so
do you want to take that in your presentation?
I think the best thing would then be, Chair, is during the time when we are answering all the questions, then we can be able to pick that up.
Okay.
Because we are keeping track of all the issues or the questions that are being raised on the question and answer.
All right.
Okay, next.
Okay, just one more thing I'd like to answer. Why is our risk management proactive, reactive, not proactive? I would like to confirm to you that our risk management is not. So first, there are risks that have already materialized in the organization. Those there's nothing we can do about. What we are trying is to resolve and reduce the impact they have to the organization. For anything that we continue to undertake as a project in the organization that has a proper risk assessment that is done, mitigations are put in place, and we go out, we bring the products to the members and all our customers when the risks have been addressed. So we are not reactive at all. The only place we are reactive is for areas where historically risks have materialized way after the project has gone live. So that is the only place, and that is why we have a special committee that's dealing with all those historical problems. But from a current project's perspective, in the last 2 to 3 years, we have not had any reactive risk management. The risk managements are managed before the projects go live. Therefore, we are able to mitigate on all the critical risks and maintain an acceptable risk appetite for the organization. Thank you, guys. We will also be having a panel answering the questions there. I just want to go into a small discussion from a business outlook on where we are as an organization. So if we look at the inflation rate, we closed at 7.95 against 7.66 in December 2022. And then inflation has risen to 9.2 in the month of February and March 2023. So if you look at that, then you understand that the household income is quite strained, and therefore the disposable income for the Kenyans especially is quite stretched. However, despite all that, our gross turnover for Q1 closed at 426 million, which was an uplift of 22.5% from the previous year. We also have a net profit for Q1 that grew by 22%, where the treasurer will be able to look at that and give you the details, but quite a promising Q1 despite the hyperinflation environment that we are dealing with. From a governance perspective, the 2023 bylaws are with the ministry, so we should be able to close those and upload in the website by end of week next week. The digitization plans, I've talked about them, and we are tracking them with meticulous focus just to make sure that by end of this year, we shall have all our digital channels created and improve our efficiency as an organization. We also continue to work to resolve historical problems. The CEO will mention quite a number in his report, even as we look at just the Q1 wins. We have recovered 4 housing units that had been occupied illegally, and these have now come in under the SIC for resale, safeguarding 13 million. Not much, but a good start of the year. Our share sales last year were only at 1.6 million for the entire year. The CEO will update on where we are for Q1. And then we continue to build the SIC brand. As someone has mentioned, we might not be doing a lot, but there's a section on what we are doing in the CEO report around branding and building a strong brand for SIC. So by and large, from a summarized perspective, a very good Q1, despite the various challenges from an economic perspective. We all are in Kenya and are seeing the tough economic environment we are dealing with. If you look at even the geopolitics, it's not easy, but still a good uplift, a very good uplift for the organization. So we are up, we look up, and we are very optimistic for the year, even as we look at the conservative growth of the 22% for Q1. Thank you, members. That would be it from a chair's outlook perspective. Back to you, MC.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think the things that I read from your speech is the growth opportunity that we have for SIC, and as investors, me included, we are very focused on that growth opportunity and ensuring that we have rebates to members of 16%. I think that wows everybody with the 16% coming through. So moving on, we have Stephen, our finance manager, who's sitting in for the CEO, taking us through the CEO strategic focus. So Stephen, over to you.
Thank you very much for this invitation. Maybe I can show my face. Okay, I'm not able to. So thank you very much. Anyone who has interacted with our CEO, Madam Sarah Wahogo, knows how passionate she is about this organization and how much she'd have loved to be in this meeting. Let me convey my apologies. She was not able to do that, but I represent her in this meeting. So greeting to all investors and members in this forum from wherever you are. And I'll just take us through the strategies that we as the management team are going to incorporate this coming quarter, so that our performance can really go higher and higher. So you realize from our current operations, we have been having 3 major sources of income, and we have relied on land for so many years. Then we moved to housing, and then we have the business development arm. So we really looked at this, and we decided that we really need to come up with very innovative other income streams that are going to even make SIC bigger organization in terms of investments, and the only way we are able to achieve bigger returns, as my chair has indicated, the figure of 16%, then we cannot continue with just the 3 revenue streams. So we want to diversify and go to other areas of interest which are related to what we are doing, so that we can get the synergies from running this organization. So one of the things that we are going to do is introduce a business line, which we are calling the value added services. And this will be ready to be launched by June this year. So what we expect from this is that it will be an income stream, and our income then will grow. And as I said, we'll be able to attain more income to our members. Then we are going to have other income streams which we are going to launch later, like building services. And I must thank our members, because some of these income streams that we are proposing have actually originated from members who have been asking us, if I have some piece of land, or in the piece of land that I bought, can SIC build me a house? So having listened to our members, this is one of the areas that we are looking forward to, whereby now we can start building services for the members, and we make a small amount out of it. And as a members, we are going to even give bigger dividends from that. Then there is property management, again, another area which is related to our core business. Whereby we start managing properties for others at a fee. And if you look at the risks involved in this business, they are relatively low. And our R&D, research and development team has been up and running, just trying to see, to scout other business opportunities that we can bring on board. We believe if we are able to double our income streams from the 3 I mentioned, and now the income streams become 6, then this will trigger the much needed growth and the return to the investors. Another area we are focusing on is in the areas of automation. In 2021, members will remember that we changed our system from Navision to Business Central just to increase the efficiency in this particular line. It has been working very well for us, but there's still room for improvement, whereby we need to optimize in terms of use of the systems, and of course bring other systems that can complement the system, like the CRM. This will help us even serve our members better in terms of the whole customer journey, such that the members will feel more valued, and in terms of getting services from SIC, it will be more seamless, and it will bring the much needed convenience that is needed by our members. The issue of SIC Mkononi has been mentioned earlier, and this is an area we really want to focus on, just to ensure that members at the comfort of their sitting rooms, they are able to transact whatever they need to transact. You are able to transfer money from your wallet to buy shares. You're able to transfer money from your SIC wallet to purchase some property. You're able to transfer funds from your SIC wallet, say, to prepare to IED, and this will bring the much needed convenience. So it will be not important for members to travel to come to the office, because we will have brought SIC to the comfort of your sitting rooms. The other issue, which was mentioned briefly by my chair, is about risk management. In the quarter ending 31st March, we set up the risk management department. It's headed by a risk manager who is here in this call. And the reason for this is we try to minimize the risks that are involved in running this organization as much as possible. And again, where risks cannot be totally avoided, then we try to mitigate and reduce the chances of them occurrence. So to this end, we have created risk owners who are basically the head of departments. So they are the risk owners, and they are working closely with the risk manager just to make sure in their areas of operations, the risk element has been really looked into, avoided where necessary, mitigated, or transferred where maybe the situation may allow. So this will make sure that our investments are safe and the returns are at the optimal levels. Another issue that was briefly mentioned is about the diaspora growth. Towards the end of last year, that is when we became more focused or more deliberate in terms of diaspora growth. Last year, we sent a team to US. They had meetings there, and I must report that the diaspora market is responding very well. It will be our growth frontier in coming months because we have realized that the appetite for our products, SSIC in the diaspora market is very high. And when you match the appetite for our properties plus the ability, then it is translating to very good results. So the diaspora people are ready to invest with us, and our figures will go up. I must say that members in diaspora in the past have been very apprehensive of maybe sending money to relatives, because you find maybe they send money and they don't get the investment they wanted. They are sent pictures of other people's properties, and you find that they don't get a real benefit for what they invested in. So with SIC being a reputable brand, and people have a lot of faith in us, having tapped in the diaspora market, then we are going places. I would like to focus briefly on the land business, which has been our mainstay in terms of achievement, because as much as we are selling land, the transaction is only complete when you're able to hand over title deeds to the buyers. The numbers displayed there are the number of titles that we have been able to send to SIC has received in buyer's name, 394 in number, which is a good number. And then we have handed over 6 projects and 10 having a property transferred to me. But SIC is building a reputation whereby we try as much as possible to meet the deadlines in terms of handover titles when that time comes. In terms of revenue, we have made 409 million so far. And this is a huge improvement from the performance that we were at the previous year. This will be mentioned in the Treasurer's report. One of the areas we would like our members to support us, and we consider it as a challenge, is that we have a lot of title deeds in our safes, whereby we have processed, but the members are not coming to collect these titles. So this is an area because again, we don't want to hold so much titles, and because members ask for these titles, we really need to process them. The other issues is that we still have some buyers who have not executed the transfers, and this is an area we are focusing on so that the process can be seamless. And when we touch a project, we are able to go end to end, process titles for all the buyers and hand over, and then we will have ample time to focus on other projects. So our titling main focus this year will be on those 3 areas, Kitengela Milimani, Kiambu Marina Gardens, which has been a success story for the financial year 2022, whereby we purchased the land and is now almost completely sold, and then the Juja Greens. In terms of our upcoming project, because we want to make sure that we continue in terms of providing some good products to the market. And of course, this will also go a long way in creating a good return for our investors. When we were looking at this in our research and development team, we was looking about a good mix of portfolios that will capture in all our markets. So we looked at, there are people who would want some high-end properties, and some maybe medium, and some a bit lower end properties. So we have a very good mix here, which every member and all our potential investors' interest will be properly catered for. We have Karen, Kiambu, again, from the success that we have had, we look at when we invested in a certain area last, how was the outcome? So when we realized that Kiambu was a successful story, then we can always go there and put some more money there. And of course, we believe our buyers will quickly buy into that project, and we should be able to, again, do some income from this and of course, satisfy a certain demand. Then we are trying some other new markets like Makuyu. This is an area that has very high potential, and not so many people operating the same kind of business that we do are there. So we are also trying to look at the what I can call the untouched markets. So with this mix of projects, we believe we cannot get it wrong. Then I want to mention briefly about our housing product. The main product that we are running with is the Miran housing unit. You realize that from our records, we have already sold 50% of this particular project. And mind you, we are able to sell this even before we have constructed these houses. Now we have already done the show house, it's complete, as you see in the next slides, and the main construction work has also begun. So we expect that now those investors who were doubting, because we have so many investors who fear investing in off-plan, but now that the work is ongoing, we expect that now we are able to quickly sell the remaining 50% of the units as the construction process begins, and then we bring the value to our investors in terms of the houses, which are the studio lofts, and the 1-bedroom and the 2-bedroom houses. Then quickly go to the Zaria village update, which is basically the joint venture project which we have. And the success story about this is that it is almost fully sold. We are at 88%. And we are almost completing on this. And then once we complete, we believe that we are going to complete this in the course of this year. And the market has been very receptive on this. Again, this Zaria village neighbors the marina. And as I said earlier, in Kiambu, we have realized the potential is big, and that is why we are going back to Kiambu with more investment opportunities. These are just the other projects which are still ongoing. As I mentioned, there is the Miran, the housing project, the marina. We have very few units left. And we expect to complete this and then move on to the new projects. I think that marks the end of the CEO presentation. I would welcome any questions at this particular point, which you can go ahead and address. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephen, for sitting in for the CEO. We want the treasurer to be able to take us through his report. Then we can be able to have some time for questions later on. We are running out of time, and we'll then, since the slides are already up, we'll be moving very, very fast, probably maybe 1 or 2 minutes per slide. Just the highlights.
Good evening, investors. Good morning, based on where you are logged from. I'll go direct to the report. So in our business, land business continues to be the key driver of our numbers. During the first quarter, we reported 402 million in land as compared to the same time last year, which was 301. When you look at housing, the finance manager has just given Miran housing, which is still under construction, with a target date of 31st of December this year. So in this one, we are not going to recognize much of the revenue, but come next year, it will be one of the key drivers. So when we look at the gross revenue, we are looking at 426 million, vis-a-vis last year, which was 330, a 29% increase. Looking at the cost of sales, which is 304, vis-a-vis 239, giving us a gross profit of 121 compared to 90 last year. That is a 34% uplift. Then considering the expenses of 64 million, we get a profit before tax of 53 million against which we recorded last year, 43 million. That is 22% growth. As we look into the year, we are looking at optimizing our costs and also looking at ways of optimizing the cost of sales to ensure that we are able to increase our bottom line. As we look ahead, the finance manager has shown several projects. So as we look into the rest of the year, we are going to look at a mix of projects that are able to reach all our market tiers, whether it is high-end, whether it's a mid-level or low-end, to be able to try and maximize the returns in the year. As we look into, maintain the slide at that slide, it's okay. So as the chair had mentioned, this year and the years to come, we are looking at double digit. So we are putting all the efforts to ensure that we are able to achieve this despite the economic environment that we are operating in. Diaspora market remains to be a key area that we are focusing on, as the chair had mentioned. Investors, briefly, I want to just give a recap of how we are tracking in terms of the rebates. In the last AGM that we had, we declared dividends, which was 2.1 per share against 1.45 in the financial year 2021. I want to confirm that 100% we have been able to execute the same, and all investors have been able to receive their funds. So we have been able to process 137 million to the investors, and there are investors who have told us that they want to capitalize, and we have capitalized 39 million. Next slide. So investors, there is no business that can survive without cash. Cash is the oil that drives the business. So we are very keen in ensuring that in our business, we are able to collect what we have sold. So as you can see in the graphs, we are tracking very well vis-a-vis last year, the same quarter, in terms of our money in the bank. I'll talk briefly on the debt collection or our debt portfolio. We open with a balance of 1.3, and this is majorly driven by the projects that we are selling. When you look at a project like Marina, it was over $1 billion project, whereby we have sold over 90%. So we opened with a balance of 1.3. In the month of January, we closed with 1.31. As at end of March, we are at 1.2 billion. So what are we doing about this debt collection? This debt collection is a key driver that will make us be able to recognize revenue. If I can talk about Marina, we are tracking to ensure that we get the titles, and then we collect from members as we hand over these titles to them. So this will help us kill two birds with one stone. We reduce our debt and increase our revenue at the other end because of the compliance with the IFRS 15, whereby you have to ensure that all the obligation for the transaction are catered for. So also we have had engagement with several banks and circles to ensure that they finance our buyers, whether it is for land, whether it's for housing, to ensure that we are able to reduce the debt. Also, in terms of the sales, we're also doing a lot of campaigns to ensure that when we sell, we're able to recognize much of the value early in the first 3 months of the sale. I talk of Miran, the housing project, whereby as we sell, we're able to collect the monies in the life of the project. So by the end of the project, you find that we are able to offset much of the debt before the project completes. So investors, we urge you to support us in this call by honoring your debts. Where you have not collected a title, please come and collect your title. And where you need to get financing to be able to patronize our projects like Miran, kindly get in touch with us. We should be able to link you up with a bank or a SACCO to be able to patronize the same product. Thank you, investors, for your support. That marks the end of my report.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jackson, our treasurer. We'll move on now to the last set of slides, that is from supervisory. And I invite our supervisory chair, Rebecca Bisanju, to take us through this.
Thank you, Tom. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, greetings and welcome to our first investors forum this financial year, our dear investors. My name, as has been said, is Rebecca, and I chair the supervisory committee. Now, just a brief of how our committee operates. The committee works closely with the internal audit team led by Jared, who is the head, and we have an internal audit officer called Amina Tanu. We also work in close partnership with the board to ensure that all audit recommendations are picked and closed out as per our mandate, which is spelled out in Section 28 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 490, and the bylaws of SIC. Now, as a committee, we are tasked with the responsibility of counter-checking the effectiveness of the society's internal control system through carrying out investigations as may be necessary and establishing whether our management society uses tools like budgets and long-term plans to ensure that targets that are set out are met. Now moving on to my presentation. In Q1, we carried out certain activities and we were able to complete the activities that we had set out to do. We did audits on 2 areas, that is our prepare fixed deposit fund and our titling process review, which we were able to discuss and present to the board. And we are trusting that the issues that were picked in those 2 audits will be closed out by the board as has been committed by them. We also continue to focus on monitoring our budget to ensure that the budgets are implemented within the approved limits and that we're able to stick to that. We don't go out of it the whole financial year. And as a committee, we also continue to drive the ethics agenda. If you remember, the chair lady in her report mentioned that from time to time, we're not perfect. And so we continue to train our staff to ensure that they uphold good ethics and that we eliminate any issues around integrity when it comes to running our organization. On to the next slide, please. Now, just to give you a brief of our tracker, how we are performing, we have 79, we have closed out audit issues, 79%, but we have 21% open audit issues, and the board is aware, and they're committed to closing these issues. Some of them are due to, like processes that are not automated. And if you had the chair of the board, Judy, and also this Stephen sitting in for the CEO, you had their commitment around digitization of our processes and automation. So we are sure that come the end of the financial year, this 21% should have reduced significantly, because we know that the board is committed to automating our processes, and we are sure that that will be closed out. So we are not worried about this 21% that is still open, because we know that the board is committed to close out all the audit issues that have been raised from the supervisory committee. The last slide, please. Now, just looking into our strategic focus in Q2, we'll continue with the implementation of our planned audits. We are on track, as I mentioned earlier, as at now. So we are hoping that as we move into Q2 and Q3, that we will stick to our plan and be able to close that out. We also continue to focus and ensuring that the budget, like the implementation of the year 2023, which has been approved by the members during the AGM, and we ensure that we stick to the budget that has been set out and approved by you members. We also continue to monitor the results from the audit reviews that we have done, and the commitment where the board has committed to close out on those issues. When we continue to monitor that and ensure that all the issues that have been raised are closed out by the end of the financial year. Now, also, we continue to give assurance to the organization through, of course, our internal audit team by doing due diligence before all the projects are onboarded, both land projects and non-land projects. As one of you, I think, had asked in the question earlier, and as the chair assured that we may have had risks prior that materialized, but right now we are trying as much as we can to ensure that we do good due diligence to all our projects, so that we do not onboard any project that might bring us risks or might bring us problems going into the future. So we continue to do that assurance, provide that assurance to the organization, and of course to you members. Now, lastly, in the next quarter, we also still focused on training our staff. We continue as a team, we continue to hold trainings from time to time to just sensitize our staff and also board members on the need to carry out our work with high integrity, and also to ensure that we sensitize all our staff members and our board on the policies that are set out, and to ensure that the policies are adhered to and processes are also adhered to as planned. Now, as a committee, we assure you, our dear investors, that we continue to be consistent in how we carry out our duties as set out in the bylaws, and we hope that come the end of the year, as is required by bylaws, we'll report to you and we'll give you a good and positive report. Thank you very much for joining us in this session, and hope to see you again in the next session. Over to you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rebecca. I must say that the way supervisory has been handling issues and improving the risk environment has been great, and I think the communication between management and supervisory is going on very well. We are at 20 minutes to the end of this particular session. We have two items, basically the questions and answers. I know the questions have been going through on the question and answers space. The questions that have not been answered or even that require review will then be handled and coordinated by Mike Akal. And then the last one, which is basically the closing remarks will then follow. We intend to finish exactly at 8. So within the next 20 minutes, we'll be closing. Thank you very much. Over to you, Michael Akal, who is our Honorary Secretary, to handle the question and answer. If there are any questions that somebody wants to voice out, we have that opportunity so that we can be able to hear your voice. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Mike, over to you. All right, thank you very much. I'm informed that Mike is not very well. His voice, I think, is letting down. I think it's a cold and weather. I think we'll progress with the question and answer. And Tuo, just be on standby to, if somebody wants to speak or talk about what is your concern, then you can do the pick up. We'll start with Dixon Kabugu from the question and answer. It appears SIC is crowded out in advertisement and social media presence by the likes of username, IG, and others. What are we doing, and how do we rank? I'll give this opportunity to Rita to be able to revert back on this.
Yeah, I know Rita was in transit to Nanyuki to be able to prepare for the title handover tomorrow. I could attempt to take it. So Dixon, if you look at our history, 3 years ago, we were at a loss-making position, and now is when we are recovering. And even as at last year, we still were only able to give rebates to our members of 7%. So what we did as an organization from a strategic perspective was to take a conservative route from a cost line perspective. Indeed, these people have really gone and spend a lot above the line to be able to build their brands and awareness. However, from our end, we were not quite able to afford going above the line many times. What we used to do, we were going above the line in a focused way for specific projects. And once the specific project sells out, then we pull out just to be able to balance the cost, because our top line, from a performance perspective, our bottom line was not doing well. So these are areas we are now starting to build capacity into from a resourcing perspective, and we are not yet there yet because really we have not even hit double digit for our members. So what we are trying to do is just make sure that even as we undertake some of these cost lines to be able to get into the marketing spaces, we also are able to safeguard or ring fence our bottom line. Beyond that, we have a lot more other things that we are doing. We have a lot of more activations that take us to meet the people, whether it is through symposiums, whether it is through just activations, through societies, through meeting groupings. So below the line, we are doing quite a lot. It's above the line that we have been very conservative about in terms of just limiting it to product base. We have not had the thematic brand activities going on, but that is something that our marketing team is working on, so that we can have like thematic advertisements or marketing programs that then run throughout the year, that then keeps you aware and continuously and consistently seeing SIC from a branding perspective. These things are expensive, and what we are doing is just making sure that we are balancing the two. Hopefully, Dixon, that kind of brings you to the journey where we've come from and where we're going.
Let me come. Yeah, let me come, please. I'm in a meeting.
Okay. So Jackson Wanjero, I'm not sure you've said anything. Back to you, MC. Are you good?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you very much. I believe, Dixon, that has been answered. So the next one would be, could you, team, please consider adding a property marketplace on the portal for property purchase from SIC. This way, it is an example. I was interested in buying the land next to mine. I can post there and the neighbor can make a decision on whether to reach out or not. The same for guys wishing to sell where they may not be interested buyers about among the neighbors. I think that's a good comment, and it's something that we've talked about through. I think we'll be able to pick that up so that we have a portal where neighbors can actually either buy from each other or sell to each other. Thank you, Helen, for that. Kariri, you're saying your question has not been answered. Let me just pick it up. Kariri, sorry. I'm just trying to get the question itself, or we can give you an opportunity to voice it out. Because I don't have the question, I can't see it here.
If someone can unmute Kariri so that she can voice her question, we don't seem to see it here.
Okay, as we are unmuting Kariri, John Kariri, moving on to the open ones. Leah Muriu, I have checked the portal and the sales are less than 3 million shillings worth over the last 1 week. The total share value has reduced from that to that, and hence only 2.4 million shares. Of course, the totaling to 39 million was sold under the table, or personal choice, should I say. The ultimate, I'll be able to pick up this, the ultimate solution to be able to try and reduce the amount of shares floated is for ASIC to be able to provide great returns. And that's what we are focusing on. And we've started seeing a number of shareholders who had floated their shares to exit are actually unfloating because they have now faith with the leadership that we have at SIC, and they are excited about the promise of greater return. This year, as our chair mentioned, we are targeting 10 double digits, so a minimum of 10%, and we'll continue until 2026 to at least 16%. I'll give my fellow directors an opportunity to be able to answer the questions.
So I can just take the one for RoboChapa. How can the society help in developing the lands all over the country in partnership, then recoup the expenses on project completion? So as I said, Robo, we are kicking off the SIC construction services unit. As soon as it is ready and we are able to launch, we will definitely take this into consideration in terms of the various options. So we had thought about the option of direct financing by the customer who wants to be just built for. We also had taken the option of being financed by the various partners we have. However, we have not thought about partnering with members and then recoup the expense on project completion. That would be something that we will be able to input into. So thanks for that feedback. Let us see how to incorporate it. Treasurer?
Okay, we can also ask Edward to be able to answer the question on Jackson Wanjeru. Why not consider establishing individual access online portal where individual members and investors can be able to monitor their own performance of their portfolio? So Edward, maybe you can answer that.
Tom was actually typing the answer, but that's fine. So Jackson, such a portal does exist. If you go to the SIC website, you should see it. And I'll actually just type out the URL under your question. We should be able to access it. What I'll suggest is, Felix, if you could reach out to Jackson and possibly share with him the process of getting, credentials that he'll use to access that portal. Tom?
Thank you. Treasurer, you are answering a particular question?
Yes, thank you, MC. I want to answer the question by giftedness. You are saying that you give your consent to SIC for your rebates to be plowed back to the secondary shares market, and you want to buy more shares and you don't have the time to monitor. You want to be allocated someone to be able to do that tracking for you. Yes, we are happy to allocate you an account manager. Felix, kindly get in touch with the giftedness and be able to assist on the same. Because in terms of buying the shares, we have buyers who are ready to sell shares. So Felix should be able to sort you out on that. Thank you.
Maybe we can give maybe 2 or 3 investors an opportunity to be able to actually voice their questions. What you can do is just post, I think, on the chat, then we can be able to allow you.
Yeah, as we go there, there's a question by John Kiriri. What is SIC doing to manage the debt ratio, which is close to 70% of the asset base? Maybe we might consider ceasing to take up new projects and concentrate on existing ones and follow up on accounts receivable. You seem to be biting more than you can chew. Steve, please, if you can respond to that one.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of cost cutting, there are various ways that we are bringing on board. This is just to ensure that the cost income ratio goes down. Number one is ensuring that the projects that we onboard, they have good margins from the onset. So any new project that we are bringing on board, we'll have to have the good margins that will help us reduce the cost income ratio. Number two, SIC is on an austerity measure spree. So we are looking at all our costs, especially the operating costs, and avoiding all the unnecessary costs. You realize, like, when it comes to titling, the SIC management has found a way whereby we are cutting costs by doing it internally. Other than using the lawyers in matters titling, we have devised our own internal ways whereby we deal with the land registries directly. This way we are going to reduce the costs. Again, in terms of HR, we are making sure that we have optimal number of staff, and each staff have their JDs such that now their productivity is very high, and just ensure that we optimize on use of staff in terms of the delivery of the objectives that we have. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve, if you may just address the debt ratio, which is close to 70% of the asset base.
Oh, the debt ratio, yes, is quite high, and we are planning to reduce it. And one of the things that we are doing is that once we borrow, say for instance, to fund the Marina project, it could have even been higher. But what we are doing is that we try to sell our properties very fast and settle the debts again as much as we are recovering these monies from the clients. So the quick win is we can borrow, we sell very fast, we pay the debts very fast, and having attained that ability to sell very fast, and we have good quality projects, we are able to slowly but gradually reduce our debt to capital ratio. Of course, it is not going to happen overnight, but we are taking those steps, and definitely it is going to go down. Thanks.
Maybe just also to add on the issue of prepare to supplement our liquidity. Yes, this we have, of course, noticed that, and we are moving, like we said, quickly settling the loans, and also moving away from managing the prepare funds in a way that the costs, and it becomes a cost and revenue center. That will make it even more profitable. So we'll be basically lending, cheaper source of lending to the various projects, and ensure that that becomes a cost center.
The MC, I also see there's a lot of feedback from the teams on simplification and making the member statements a bit more understandable and easy or simple to read and interpret. Our ICT manager might want to respond to that one on what he's doing around the simplification of the member statements. Though, if you may just comment on that and what we are doing, and hopefully by when.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sarah, for the question. There's a lot of optimization that we are doing to the ERP system that we have in-house, and simplifying the customer-facing end, including the statement, is one of them. So we are working to have some of these things closed within a month. And the statement is amongst the top items that we have.
So we have only 2 minutes left, and I want to take this opportunity to close it here and just have it as a closing remarks. Chair, maybe you can be able to take it over. We'll be able to pick up all these questions, the ones that are pending. Most of them, I think people have made contacts, either sending phone numbers or even emails, so as to be able to do follow-up. Our team are very switched on now, and we are answering most of the questions posed to us. So, Chair, if you can be able to do the session of a closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, members. Our turnout of at least 160 of us is excellent. So thank you. It means definitely the interest, the energy, and the focus for this organization is right by both the board members, the members of the leadership team, the staff members, and also our members at large. We continue to keep our promise to meet you every quarter, and as you hold us accountable, we continue then to table to you what we have been doing for the quarter and what the results are and the outlook for the future. We want to encourage members, even beyond here, please write to us ask questions, and continuously engage us and give us ideas on what we can do differently, because there's no monopoly of ideas, and many of the ideas we continue to implement in this organization come from the members. So we are very, very thankful for your presence. We are very appreciative of the fact that you took time from your busy schedules to come and have this conversation with us so that we can forge ahead together. Let us continue to engage. I want to encourage the members to continuously also keep themselves abreast with the bylaws of the society, so that at large, even when we come to the AGMs, we are coming from a point of knowledge. So I also want to encourage members, even before we get to September, that we shall continuously have member education sessions that will be carried out. This will be just 1 hour sessions to be able to look to expound on topical matters that are of interest to the members. Please, as you get that invitation, make a point, just so that we can also make sure that our members are fully aware of how the society is run, the bylaws that govern us, and also they can then be able to come up with even areas that they want changed. Because if you send us these matters early enough, then we are able to incorporate them into either the bylaws proposed changes or also the any other changes that we may need to make as an organization. I see many people seem not to have gotten the presentations. I ask that the presentations are sent afresh to all the members, and every member that has given an email, for whatever reason, they might have changed jobs, they might have had other changes in their emails, please take the new emails and make sure that we send them to the members. We appreciate you, members, and we continue to request that you continue to patronize our products, because we assure you we are doing the requisite due diligence and we are managing the risks effectively. So we continue to ask and bank on your support in our future and even existing products. We have very good products. If you go to our portal, we have never changed the prices of those products, and land continues to escalate in price. There are really good deals if you go to our portal. So we encourage you to go to the portal, look at what is available and at what price, even go and check the prices. You will see that we are still selling those things at a discount and a very good deal, so that then you can be able to reap well from this investment, even as we work towards double-digit returns this year. We appreciate you, and we continue to work extremely hard with focus on a superior return to all of us who are investors and members of this excellent organization. And without further ado, I would want to request the person who was closing for us. Is that what is the next agenda? Yes, to close for us with a word of prayer. Not sure who it was. Yes, Felix, Mr. Akuku, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's all believe and pray. Eternal Father, we thank you for this session that we have, a worthy premier quarterly session where we engage with our shareholders in update and get to inform them of the progress, Lord. We thank you for having led us for Q1 and looking forward to an even more robust Q2, Lord. We ask that, Lord, may you take care of all our shareholders, both of whom have logged in and them who, for one or the other, weren't able to log in. May you grant them longevity, bless the hands of their works, Lord, that for each and every day they might be able to get a token from all the tasks that they engage in. We continue asking that may you grant SAC your favor, longevity that will forever make it a going concern that and a brand worth being part of. As we sign off, Lord, may you be with us and grant us your security and life and health. For this is our prayer, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen and amen. Good night, good morning, good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.